Here's your daily Tottenham news and transfer window headlines with me, Harry Scarfe, football content creator, YouTuber and football writer. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you, Chris, for this opportunity. If you're new, like and subscribe. Let's get straight into it. We're going to go through one or two articles and really dissect them if you're unfamiliar with how this works. So I picked out an article from Sky Sports, and a lot of them are on Savinho. These links to Tottenham from Manchester City. So all the articles on me, and I've chosen Sky Sports. The headline is Savinho transfer news. Tottenham in talks with Man City over a deal for a winger. So it starts by saying Tottenham's approach from Manchester City over signing winger Savinho, the club's Champions League, who are in the Champions League, are in talks over the deal for the Brazilian international. City do not want to sell the 21-year-old who's only joined last summer, but Savinho scored 3 goals in 48 appearances in his debut campaign for Manchester City. Tottenham Hotspur have approached Manchester City about signing Savinho, with talks underway between the two Champions League clubs. City, however, do not want to sell him. Spurs have been in the market for a number 10, and that search is intensifying after a long-time injury to James Maddison. Savinho can play as a 10, but predominantly a winger. Spurs winger Dejan Kulusevski has previously played at number 10 when Maddison has been injured. It's worth noting, by the way, just to add in that Kulusevski is currently injured. The North London side has also lost forward Heung-min Son this summer after his move to Los Angeles FC, bringing an end to the captain's decade at the club. Savinho has mainly been used as a right winger at Man City under Pep Guardiola, scored 11 goals for Girona in the 23-24 season from the left side of their attack, and therefore could be the natural replacement for Son. Savinho scored 3 goals and provided 13 assists in 48 appearances for Man City last season. The Brazil international came on as a half-time substitute in Saturday's 3-0 pre-season win over Palmeiras. Savinho may find game time harder to come at City with the following arrival of Turkey, where he faces competition from the likes of Phil Foden, Oscar Bob and Jeremy Doku. Tottenham, meanwhile, are pursuing a deal for Savinho, having spent £120.3 million this summer on 6 signings. Europa League wingers turned Kevin Danso's £20.9 million and Matthias Tell's £29.9 million loan moves into permanent deals. Mohamed Kudus has been their most expensive signing of the summer so far after his £55 million arrival from West Ham. Midfielder João Palhinha joined on the season-long loan from Bayern Munich, while defenders Luka Vuskovic £9.5 million and Kota Sakai £5 million have also joined the club this summer. So that is your article. Savinho, this has come as a bit of a bombshell, bomber I think they call it, on Twitter. I think this is a really good bit of business. You know, I've spoken, haven't I, sometimes on the channel that I want a number 10, want a left winger. I've spoken about Eze, Grealish, other players like this, and this is a different one, you know. Savinho, I think, is a really good option. Can play the 10, as we said there, if he needs to. Predominantly a winger, can play both sides as well, which is fantastic. And he's a really good player. I don't think City will let him go willingly. I think they're going to make it as difficult for us as they can. I think they can hold out for as much as they'd like. We're talking probably £65-70 million at a minimum here, if I'm being totally honest with you. I don't believe reports about 50-60 million euros. I don't believe that. I think City want a lot more if they only signed him last summer. The only doubt with him is his finishing ability, but I think he's very good, and I think it would be a big signing. But I'm acting with caution over this because I can't remember the last time we signed a big player from a big club. Very occasionally we sign very occasionally we sign players from big clubs. Tell from Bayern Munich, I would argue, but very rarely is the big player as well, because Tell certainly wasn't. So this was a rarity. You could argue Paulinho's that, but it's only on a loan. So this is exciting, but I don't want to get carried away. So time will tell. Looks like Grealish, by the way, is going to Everton. So will Man City let both of them go is the thing here. I don't know. Will it even impact the deal? I'm not quite sure. But the second article I want to get onto is from Football London, which reports Tottenham's 22-man squad list for the PSG Super Cup UEFA final confirmed as 8 players are absent. It said Tottenham had to submit their squad list last week for Wednesday's UEFA Super Cup final against PSG. Tottenham went 17 years up missing a trophy, but they have the opportunity to secure a second piece, of silverware in the space of 3 months on Wednesday evening. As a result of their 1-0 win over Manchester United in May's Europa League final, Thomas Frank's men faced Paris Saint-Germain in the final of the UEFA Super Cup at Stadio Friuli in Udine, Italy. The French side are the overwhelming favourites to win the trophy after hitting Inter Milan for 5 goals in the Champions League final, considering what PSG offer across the pitch. And also last Thursday's 4-0 defeat against Bayern Munich for Tottenham. Plenty of Spurs fans going into the Super Cup final fearing the worst. Ahead of a big season for the club as they look to build on their trophy success and get back up to the Premier League table after finishing 17th under Ange Postecoglou. Tottenham have so much more to do in the transfer market. The club have a number of players currently in the treatment room at present, with James Madison the latest to join the lengthy list after rupturing the anterior cruciate ligament in his right knee in the team's friendly against Newcastle United 8 days ago. The Tottenham squad is certainly not in the best possible place for Wednesday's final, but Frank will be hoping to mastermind a victory in his first competitive match in charge of the club since departing Brentford in June. As the Super Cup final is the UEFA competition, UEFA squad registration rules apply for Wednesday's game in Udine. As ever, clubs can name no more than 25 players on List A. As a minimum, 8 places are reserved for locally trained players, and no club can have more than 4 association trained players in those 8 spots on List A, all of which is explained. There is then a List B for players born on or after the 1st of January 2004 who have been eligible to play for the club in an uninterrupted period of 2 years since their 15th birthday, and a total of 3 consecutive years with a maximum of 1 loan period to a club from the same association for a period no longer than 1 year. As per Article 2009 in the regulations of UEFA Super Cup, List A have to be submitted online by the 5th of August 2025 around 24:00 CST, so 11 PM UK time. However, this list may be amended at any time until 11 PM UK time the day before the match, provided the club's association confirms in writing whether new players are eligible to play at a domestic level by the date of the competition. Each club is entitled to register an unlimited number of players on List B. The list must be submitted by no later than 11 PM UK on the day before the match in question. As List A has to be submitted online last week, the official squad list for Tottenham and PSG have been stated. So let's really read into the squads that are available for both Tottenham and Paris Saint-Germain. Let's go with Tottenham first. So Guglielmo Vicario, Anton Kinski and Brandon Austin are the goalkeepers, so that's in the goalkeeper position. Then we move on to defence. Pedro Porro, Jed Spence, Christian Romero, Mickey van der Ven, Kevin Danso, Destiny Doggy's in there, and Ben Davis. Midfielders, Yao Polinia, Yves Bissouma, Archie Gray, Rodrigo Bentancur, Lucas Bergvall and Pape Massissar. Attackers, Mohamed Kudus, Brennan Johnson, Wilson Odobert, Matthias Tell, Richarlison and also Dominic Solanke. So that is the Tottenham squad. So no, it looks good. Can Savinho get in there is a question. So it looks like, although it had to be submitted, it can be changed if we but we can change it if we want Savinho to play in that game. So we'll have to see what happens with that. But no, it's an okay squad. I still think Frank's being set up to fail. But when we get Savinho over the line, that is a little bit different. It's a big signing. You could just tell from that numbers read out, that 22-man squad, that there's not a lot is there in midfield. There's 4 or 5 midfielders. But those are your 2 articles. Get involved in anything you heard in the article or anything I said in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching your Tottenham news and transfer window headlines. We dissect articles. Thank you very much. Please follow me at Scarfe across all socials. Football content creator, YouTuber and football writer. Plenty of experience at such a young age doing this. Thank you very much for watching. Again, really appreciate it, and thank you Chris Callan as well for this opportunity to speak to you guys. It's always a pleasure. Like and subscribe, and a massive come on you Spurs.